Hi everyone, today we're going to have a look at some programming in BASIC. Now unfortunately, because some people are not in school, we can't use the same programming language that we normally would, so we've got to go for something just slightly different. I've sent everyone a link and it's on the website. This one, Super Basic V2, and this is a version of a programming language called Small Basic. You can actually download this so that you can just use it on your computer at home. It's made by Microsoft, but we're going to use the online version today. So when you first get to the website, we're all going to click New and then click OK, so that it just gives us a blank screen there. So there's a few commands that we need to work with to start with, and we're going to start off by just getting our background and our pen colours for drawing. So we're going to start off there with a capital G, and then it will give a list of commands that might start with that, so we can then just click graphics window. Then we want a dot, full stop, and we want background colour equals speech mark. So note that the speech mark is the double speech mark above the 2, and then you put in your colour. Now the colour, it's not worried about case, it just won't let you put spaces in. So let's pick black for that one. Make sure you go to the end of the line and then press enter. Now for people who are on an iPad, for some reason the default speech mark is not the one that this program wants. So I've recorded a short video of me doing that on the iPad, so I'm going to play that now, and then after that then everybody should be able to use those speech marks. We don't need them very much, so I'll play the video right now. Now that we've got our new program, we're going to first of all click inside the box there, and that will bring up our keypad. So to begin with, we need a capital letter, so you're going to press the shift, which is the one there, that gives us our capitals, and then we're going to start off with capital G. Now back up at the top, this then gives us some options, so we're going to click on graphics window. Back down here on the keyboard, we're going to just put a dot, full stop. That gives us some more options here, so we're going to go then to background colour. Back down here on our keyboard, now we need the equals, so just below shift we've got the 1, 2, 3. Let's click on that, and there's our equals. So now at the top we've got graphics window dot background colour equals. Now we need a speech mark, but the one that the iPad tends to use is not the correct one. So over here towards the right of your keypad, we've got there, look, the normal speech mark. We're going to hold that key down and you get these different options, and then we're going to go up to that one in the middle there, look. Okay, so it's a speech mark that's not leaning to left or right. So now back up here, we've got our graphics window equal background colour dot. Now we can enter our background colour. So on our keypad we need to press the ABC to get back to our colours, and then up here, it doesn't matter about case on this one, I'm just going to type in black. Don't forget then to go to the end of the line before you press enter, ready for the next one. So at that stage, I know we've not done much, but pause the video, everybody just get that line into your program. That way we know that people on different devices can all go through to the next stage. So if we're all back together, we're going to do a similar line again. So we're going to start off with a capital G, and then graphics window dot capital P, so that we can click pen color equals. Now you're going to need that speech mark again, so people on the iPad, remember you need to hold that down and pick the one in the middle. Everyone else, it's the one above the number 2 with shift. And let's pick yellow for our pen colour. Now we wouldn't see anything if we ran that at the moment other than a black screen, because now we need to actually do something. So our usual command when we're in school is draw, to draw a line. It's a bit more complicated in this one because we've got to tell it to do it in the graphics window. So again, G, the graphics window, dot, capital D for draw line. And now we've got 4 sets of coordinates, which is also different from the version of BASIC that we use in school. The first 2 coordinates are the start of the line. The second 2 coordinates are the end of the line. And on this version of BASIC, the top left-hand corner is 0, 0. So then our X would go across and our Y would go down. So just initially now, I'm going to use 0, 0 as our start point. And then we're going to use 500, 500 as our end point. Now we're going to go over here. So people on the iPad, you need to get hold and just scroll slightly there. And we click run. So we've got our program. We've drawn a yellow line on a black background. Now you need to make absolutely certain you go back at this point. Please don't close the window down to get back or you'll just lose your program. So we'll go back and we're back in here again now. Now that we've all got our line drawing there on the screen, we're now going to use a loop so that we can draw more than one line or draw the line in stages. I'm going to click at the end of line 2 there after the speech mark following yellow, press enter, and we're going to set up a for loop. So start typing the word for, and then we can click that, and it's put 2 lines in for us actually, so we need a variable there. I'm going to use C. Notice that I've used little c, lowercase c, and that's what we've got to use again later. So we're going to say from 1 to 500. Now it's trying to be helpful by putting end 4 in there. Normally I'd just copy and paste that or I'd move a line, but because some people are working on different devices, we will just delete it and we'll put it on the next line down. If you haven't got that line 5, go to the end of there, press enter. So start typing in end and we want end 4. All that will do at the moment is just draw that line 500 times, so we won't see anything. What we're going to do instead is we're going to tell it to draw to lowercase c and lowercase c. What's happening here then? We start off our for loop, c equals 1. So the graphics window draws from 0, 0 up there to 1, 1. It goes back round the loop. C is now 2, so it draws from 0, 0 to 2, 2. Then from 0, 0 to 3, 3, and so on. And the last one will be from 0, 0, there in the corner, down to 500, 500. Now, what this does, it will draw us the line, but we don't actually see anything different. Let's just go back again. What we need to do so that we can see something is slow things down a little bit. So we're going to put in capital P to type in program. So we're going to program dot delay, and then it says it wants a time in milliseconds. So we're just going to put 1 millisecond in there. Because every time C gets bigger, it's got a bigger line to draw. So it's going to draw to there, then to there, then to there, then to there, and so on. The program gets slower as it goes along. That's why we're only using a very small delay. So if we run that, you can see it starts off okay, and now it's starting to slow down as it gets further and further along. So we're not going to let the program finish, we just need to know that it's working. So let's go back to that part there. We can speed this up by going in steps. So let's say we'll go in steps of 20. And let's try that again. And we see that huge difference in the line there. Look, so again, because this time it's jumping in steps of 20. So it's drawing from 0, 0 to 2020, or actually 21 because we started at 21 there, and so on, but it's going through each of those. Next, we're going to remove that step 20 because we just want our loop now going from 1 to 500. This time we're not going to keep drawing to CC, we're going to instead draw to some random number points. So we click at the end of our for line and we go on to the next line there. Okay. So we're going to set some variables. So I'm going to put the caps lock on, X equals, and then we're going to type in M, and we're going to click math, then dot, G for get random number, and then it's giving us a value there for the maximum number. When we drew our first line, we went down to 500, 500, so we know it's going to fit on everyone's screen. So for now, let's do the same with that. So X is a random number from 1 to 500. Y is also going to be a math function using get random number up to 500. So now we can change these coordinates to X and Y. Let's think about what this is going to do. It's not going to use that value of C anymore apart from go round the loop 500 times. It's going to pick two random coordinates, and every time it's going to go back to 0, 0 and draw to those random coordinates, back to 0, 0 and draw to those random coordinates. So let's run that, and we get our lines all radiating out from that top corner. Taking a little bit of time there with 500 because we've got this program delay. So what I'm going to do is put an apostrophe in front of it. If you can't do that, just delete the line, that's fine. But that stops it from running that line. Let's try that again. And it's almost instant this time. At that point, again, pause the video, get your program up to date with this one, and then come back again once you've done that. Now, before we move on, it's time just to gather some evidence so that I can see your work. So what I would like everyone to do at this point is highlight that word yellow, and we're going to change it to cyan. Again, it doesn't matter if it's upper or lowercase. What I want you to do then is run the program. Once you've got that set of radiating lines up on the screen, take a photograph of it. So you can either do that, if you're on a computer, you can use the print screen button. If you are on something like an iPad, you can do it by you hold down the home button and the button on top at the same time. You'll get a little click and it'll put that into your photos. Or the simplest way is just to get your mobile phone and take a photograph of the screen with that graphic on. So let me change that back to yellow and run this. So I want a picture of that, but I want yours to be in cyan. Okay, so that would be our first piece of evidence. Now it's time to move on to section 2. So everyone should have changed that pen colour to cyan, run the program, taken a photograph or a print screen of that screen and have it saved somewhere. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to drop this number for the loop down to 100. Yeah. Just so that we only get 100 lines, the program will run just a little bit quicker when we do that. So far we've had our graphics window with this pen colour in cyan. We're going to bring in some random colours instead now. You notice when I press enter, it's indenting here because generally in BASIC, when you're inside a loop, things are indented, but we haven't done it with the other sections. so we're not too worried about that right now. So what we're going to do now, we're going to use a new variable. So we're going to call this one col in lowercase for colour equals, and now we need again G for graphics window, then we want to dot, then G again, and we're going to use get random colour. So that will just pick any of the colours that it can use. What we want now then is just before the graphics window draw line. So I'm clicking at the end of line 6, I'm going to press enter, and we want similar to that line again. So graphics window dot pen color equals, this time instead of putting black or yellow or cyan, we're going to put col, which is our random color. That means then also we can highlight that line and we can remove it, because we don't need that anymore because we're doing it just before we draw. So let's run that program. So now we've got our 100 different coloured lines again radiating out from that side. So what I want us to do now, let's put that back up to 500, run the program, take a screen print or a photograph of that pattern with 500 lines on it, save it somewhere ready to send in with your work. If you're using the print screen, you can press print screen and then you can paste straight into an email. You don't need to have sent the email, just keep it up and ready. Now let's move to our third and final program. So this time we're going to change the loop and we're just going to come right down to just 10 iterations of that loop. What we've had so far is every time we draw a line, it's always drawing from 0, 0. So it's always going back there, and that means then we get these sort of patterns. What we want to do now is get it so that the line draws, say, down to here, but then it starts at that point and moves somewhere else, and moves somewhere else, and so on. So what we're going to need for that then is to change some of our coordinates. So first of all, we're going to change x and y to x1 and y1. Now we're going to change them here to x1 and y1. So that's quite an important change. Pause the video, go and make that change on lines 4, 5 and 7. So if you've done that, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the end of line 3, going to press enter, and we're going to set two new variables, which this time again are x, so I'll keep them in capitals for this. X equals 0, press enter, y equals 0. Now I've put those as 0 so that we can replace these two zeros here with, let's get the caps lock on, x and y. So we need to make certain that they are in capitals because they're in capitals there. We're going to test the program because we should not see any difference at all. There we go. Let's go back. Again now, you're going to pause the video in a second and you need to make that change there to add line 4 and 5 and then this change here, look, on line 9. So make those changes and then come back again. Okay, so we've got those. Now the program's not doing anything different. What we need to do though is when the program has drawn a line, before it draws the next one, we need these two variables to be the same as the end of the line there. So at the moment, if we start there at 0, 0, that's x and y, and let's say we draw down to 500, 500, that's x1, y1. What we need next is for X and Y to both be 500 so that that can draw to another place. So what we're going to do with these, we've got to have kind of like a fake X1 and Y1. We need to be definitely outside the loop because we're only going to use these once. So let's go just after our graphics window and we're going to set X1 to 0. We're going to set Y1 to 0. Let's think about what happens the first time we do this. We've got our graphics window, X1 is 0, Y1 is 0. We go into the loop. We get our random colour, X is 0, Y is 0, X1 and Y1 are also 0. But then before anything happens with these, they get overridden with random numbers. So the first time then it will draw from 0, 0 to whatever our random numbers are. So let's say 500, 500. This time though, when it goes round the loop, we can now change those values of X and Y. So we're going to say there X equals X1, Y equals Y1. Let's look at that again. X1 equals 0, Y1 equals 0. So here now, X equals 0, Y equals 0. We've got to have these in at the beginning because if we say at this point X equals X1, the computer's not come across X1 yet and it doesn't know what it is. So we need these dummy values at the top. We're only ever going to use them once because then once it's got to X1, Y1, it goes back round the loop and it can set those values. So let's try that now then. And we get these random zigzaggy lines. I'm going to now take that apostrophe away. If you deleted the line before, put the line back in. So program.delay, and let's put that as, say, 100 milliseconds. So a tenth of a second. And we can see the computer now drawing those random lines for us. So pause the video at this point and make those changes. So we've got there that line 2 and 3. We've got the line 6 and 7. And then try the program and make sure that that actually works. Okay. So if you come back, hopefully you've got a program that is working properly. So what I want you to do now, please, is change this value to 100. Run the program. Once the program's run, either take a screen print or take a photograph with your phone, and that then is your evidence for program 3. At that point there, I want you then please to email the work to me. So when you're emailing the work, everybody should have their 3 pictures or 3 screen prints. If you want to, you can also highlight your program there, right click and copy and paste that into your email to show me your final program. You don't have to do, that's fine. The copy and paste here are for this program. It doesn't work when you try and paste into other things on all devices. If you want to save that program, on most computers you just click save, and then you want to open it with Notepad and you click OK, and that's your program there. So that means then anytime you want to come back to this, you can highlight that, you can copy it, and you can paste it into a new program here. People who can't copy and paste, if you want to send me your program as well, again, take a photograph of it and just send me 4 photographs instead of 3.